Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Anubhav, DNB Medicine, Sefi Hospital, final year students. Today, my topic is approach to patient with acute kidney injury. Now, first of all, epidemiology regarding the acute kidney injury. 5 to 7% of the acute care hospital admissions and 30% of the ICU admissions with mortality rates of the 50%. And basically, there are two types, that is community acquired AKI and hospital acquired AKI. The community acquired AKI basically it is related with the volume depletion or volume depletion, which can be due to the loose motion, vomiting, or the case of obstruction of the urinary tract, which can be due to the calculus, where there is a bladder calculus or urinary tract calculus. Hospital acquired AKI it is due to sepsis, major surgical procedures, heart or liver failure. Now AKI in the tropics it is due to the diarrheal diseases, malaria, leptospirosis which affects both liver as well as the kidney, constitutes jaundice as well as the acute injury. The definition of the AKI, we will see the definition of AKI as per KDIGO classification, that is kidney disease improving outcomes. KDIGO criteria: increase in serum creat greater than 0.3 milligram per dl within 48 hours, or raised creatinine greater than 1.5 times the baseline within the prior 7 days, or urine volume which is less than 0.5 ml per kg per hours. Staging it is divided into three stages: stage 1, 2 and 3. Stage 1, the creatinine rises from 1.5 to 1.9 times the baseline. Output is less than 0.5 ml per kg per hour for 6 to 12 hours. And stage 2 is 2 to 2.9 times, and output is less than 0.5 ml per kg per hour for greater than 12 hours. And 3 is 3 times the baseline, or increase in the serum creatinine to greater than 4 milligrams per dl, or initiation of the renal replacement therapy. Basically in the stage 3, where the RRT or renal replacement therapy is required, and the urine output is less than 0.3 ml per kg per hour for greater than 24 hours, or anuria for 12 hours. Anuria it is defined as a urine output which is less than 100 ml per day, that is within 24 hours, and oliguria which is less than 400 ml per day. Now previous classification, that was rifle criteria: risk, injury, failure, loss of function, and end stage disease. Risk: increase in creatinine 1.5 to 2 times the baseline, or output less than 0.5 ml per kg per greater than 6 hours. Injury is creatinine rise 2 to 3 times the baseline, output is reduced less than 0.5 ml per kg per hour for greater than 6 hours. Failures is rise in the creatinine 3 times the baseline, and 75% of the GFR it is lost, and output is less than 0.3 ml per kg per hour for greater than 12 24 hours. And loss of function: persistent renal failure for greater than 4 end stage renal disease, persistent renal failure for more than 3 months, and here at this stage where the dialysis is required. Now this is the Rifles criteria and AKIN both written, so you can compare during this slide. Next, etiopathosis of the AKI. AKI basically intrinsic, pre-renal and the post-renal. Okay, intrinsic is again divided into glomerular, interstitial and tubular. Now AKI it is divided into pre-renal, which constitutes various such causes limited to the hypovolemia, decreased cardiac output, decreased effective circulatory volume, that is congestive heart failure, liver failure, and impaired renal autoregulation. Intrinsic, again it is divided into three parts: glomerular, tubular, and interstitium, and the vascular causes, that is vasculitis. Tubular interstitium, again it comes ischemia associated AKI, or whether it is sepsis associated AKI, or nephrotoxins. Nephrotoxins, that is exogenous and endogenous. Endogenous it can be due to the hemolysis, rhabdomyolysis, whereas in the exogenous it can be iodinated contrast and amphotericin B. Okay. Next, that is post-renal, it can be due to the bladder outlet obstructions, bilateral pelvo-ureter obstructions. This is regarding the basic physiology that is causing the pre-renal AKI. The normal perfusion pressure which is maintained by the arterial resistance in the afferent as well as efferent arteriole. If there is decreased perfusion pressure, so there is correspondent increase in the vasodilatory prostaglandins that dilates the afferent arteriole, that will cause what increase in the blood flow to the glomerulus. And if if this physiology is hampered, that will cause what little bit slightly increased vasodilatory pigments as well as decreased angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 2 which acts in the efferent arteriole, and the prostaglandins it acts on the afferent arteriole, so that will lead to decreased perfusion pressure, ultimately leads to the pre-renal. Now this is the various cause already I explained you. Intrinsic renal failure, simply the iodinated contrast, exogenous or endogenous, that affects the tubular interstitial part. Post-renal causes, here the graphic diagrammatic representation, whether there's stones, blood clots, or external compression that is decreasing the urine out. Non-oliguric AKI. Non-oliguric AKI in hospital set up secondary to the nephrotoxic agents. Always the review of the medications it is required, whether the patient is on aminoglycoside, amphotericin B, methotrexate. These are the agents which are nephrotoxic, as well as some of the other antibiotics such as colistin. Diagnostic evaluation, pre-renal, the most important thing is history and physical examination. History, you have to take the history, whether it's severe vomiting, diarrhea. You should review the medications, whether the patient is on NSAIDs, ACE inhibitors, ARBs. Examination point, you can see the orthostatic hypotension, tachycardia, since the patient is dehydrated. You will find it at tachycardia, reduced jugular venous pressure, skin turgor, it is usually less than 2 seconds. If it is greater than 2 seconds, that the patient is severely dehydrated. Dry membrane, other that is intrinsic. Renal causes, you can review the medications, whether it is due to the systemic vasculitis with glomerulonephritis, so there would be presence of palpable purpura, pulmonary hemorrhage, atheroembolic, livido reticularis. Livido reticularis, basically these are reticulate pattern which is present in the skin. Next, that is rhabdomyolysis, where you can find the signs of leukemia. Post-renal causes, there will be colicky flank pain, which is radiating to the back, and there can be nocturia, urinary frequency. So basically, the patient would come with complaints of frequent wake from the sleep for passing the urine. That is the first thing to look in the patients who are in whether they're present with the uh, any prostatic disease. Okay, abdominal fullness and suprapubic pain can accompany massive bladder enlargement. Now, blood test, CBC, Bun creat ratio, electrolytes, uric acid, PT, APTT. Urine analysis also, you would look for volume, osmolality, proteinuria, FANA, which is urinary index. Sediments, if there is a normal or few RBCs, or whether there is abnormal sediments which is present in the urine. But first you should look into this. Okay, if there is any, whether there is few RBC or WBC cast, it can present post renal as well as in the pre renal. If there is specifically presence of WBC cast or there is RBC cast, it is present glomerulonephritis, vasculitis, malignant hypertension. Whereas in the WBC cast, you will find it in the interstitial nephritis, glomerulonephritis, pyelonephritis. The eosinophiluria you would find in the allergic interstitial nephritis. Granular cast is found in the ATN, GN vasculitis, and renal tubular epithelial cast. Obviously, you will find it in the ATN tubular interstitial diseases. Next, that is imaging USG, to useful for the obstructive forms. Also, the renal USG, it will differentiate AKI from the CKD, and Doppler, CT scan, pylography, DMSA scan, that is for anatomy, DTPA scan for the perfusion. This is intrinsic renal. This is basically a difference in the pre-renal and the post-renal azotemia, basically with the Bun creat ratio, whether there is greater than 20 or it is less than 20. If there is less than 20, that is, it constitutes intrinsic renal diseases. Greater than 20 is pre-renal causes, and FENA, which is less than 1 in case of the pre-renal. In intrinsic renal diseases, it is due to in the intrinsic renal diseases, it is greater than 1. Important biomarkers, cystatin C, NGAL, that is neutrophil gelatinase associated lipocalin, interleukin 18, kidney KIM1, that is kidney injury molecule 1, and N-acetyl D-glucosamine. Okay, what are the various complications? First, with the increased damage, there is loss of GFR, kidney failure, ultimately cystatin C, which is superior to serum creatinine. It allows the detection of AKI 24 to 48 hours earlier than serum creatinine. KIM1, that is a type 1 transmembrane glycoprotein, served as a marker for severity of AKI. It can be used for prediction of outcomes. And GAL, that is considered equivalent to troponin in the AKI, troponin in acute coronary syndrome. It can be detected in the plasma and urine within 2 hours of cardiopulmonary bypass associated AKI. Complications of the AKI, various metabolic, CVS, GI, neurologic. The patient would complain of firstly nausea, vomiting, that is the GI complications, metabolic, that is you can rule out the various electrolytic disturbances, hyperkalemia, hyponatremia, hypocalcemia, hyperphosphatemia, cardiovascular, pulmonary edema, arrhythmias, pericarditis, pericardial effusion, hematologic, there would be anemia, anemia would be normocytic, normochromic, bleeding, infectious, pneumonia, septicemia, and other causes such as hiccups. Treatment of the AKI, first it is optimization of systemic and renal hemodynamics through volume resuscitation and judicious use of the vasopressors. Okay, the elimination of nephrotoxic agents and initiation of RRT when it is indicated, that is renal replacement therapy. Prerenal AKI prevention and treatment of the prerenal azotemia, it requires optimization of renal perfusion. If there is severe acute blood loss, then PRP transfusion is required. IV fluids, basically it is isotonic steroids, uh, is preferred as compared to the colloids, especially that hydroxyethyl starch. It is contraindicated in AKI. Vasopressor, appropriate use of the vasoactive agents that improves the kidney perfusion. Dopamine associated with a greater number of adverse events than norepinephrine. Low dose dopamine, its use has been abandoned by most subsequent to negative results of various studies. It recommends not using low dose dopamine to prevent or treat the AKI. Cirrhosis and hepatorenal syndrome. If there is cirrhotic, that is hepatorenal syndrome, then albumin may prevent AKI in those treated with antibiotics for spontaneous bacterial peritonitis. And the vasopressors that are used is terlipressin or combination therapy with octreotide amiodarone. Cardiorenal syndrome, optimization of cardiac function. First, it will require ionotropic agents, preload and afterload reducing agents, antiarrhythmic drugs. Treatment of intrinsic AKI, diuretic. Renoprotective, potentially lessening ischemic injury, can also be harmful by worsening the established AKI. No evidence of incidence reduction. KDIGO recommends not using diuretics to prevent the AKI. It suggests not using diuretics to treat AKI except in the management of volume overload. Phenaldopam, it pure dopamine type 1 receptor agonist without systemic adrenergic stimulation, no conclusive study available. Erythropoietin, it is potential clinical benefit of erythropoietin AKI animal studies. Renoprotective action of erythropoietin related to pleomorphic properties, anti-apoptotic, antioxidant, stimulation of cell proliferation, stem cell mobilization. Rhabdomyolysis, aggressive volume depletion, may require 10 liters of fluid per day. Alkaline fluid beneficial diuretics. Dialysis. Glomerulonephritis or vasculitis may respond to immunosuppressive agents or plasmapheresis. Allergic interstitial nephritis due to medications requires discontinuation of the offending agent. Glucocorticoid have been used but not tested in randomized trials. AKI due to scleroderma is treated with ACE aminoglycoside induced AKI, then obviously you have to remove the offending agent, avoid in high risk patients such as age with greater than 65 years, single dose rather than multiple dosing, and amphotericin, that is also called a nephrotoxic agent, use azole antifungal agent or echinocandins rather than conventional amphotericin B. Post-renal prompt relief urinary tract obstruction, relief obstruction usually followed by an appropriate diuresis and may require continued administration of IV fluids and for a period of time. Indication of dialysis, it is you can learn through this mnemonic: A, E, I, O, U. A for acidosis, E for electrolytic disturbances, usually hyperkalemia, I for intoxications, O for overload, uremia. Modes of dialysis, that is hemodynamically stable and hemodynamically unstable, CRRT, SLED. Take home message, what is the take home message? It is diagnose early, biomarkers have a great potential, look for etiology, prevent rather than treat. No role of low dose dopamine diuretics in prevention and treatment. Initiate are indicated. These are the various references that I have used during this video. Thanks. Competitions